Welcome back to Mad World News. Today is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Our top news story today is the Iranian regime launched a salvo of missiles at U.S. military bases in the Middle East. It appears to be a token response primarily for domestic consumption. Let's break down the news. Regime. Do you know this word, guys? Regime. Well, regime means a government you don't like. Okay? So usually when people use the word regime, they are meaning like a dictator or an authoritarian government. So you could talk about the Iranian regime. Right? The Ayatollah's government. If you don't like the American government, you could say the American regime launched an attack on the Iranian nuclear sites. Okay, so any government you don't like, you can use the word regime. It almost kind of has this feeling of being illegitimate. Okay, it's not a legitimate government, right? So do you think the government in Iran is legitimate, or do you think it's not legitimate? Salvo. Salvo means weapons launched simultaneously. There's nothing written on my papers, guys. Just trying to be cool. Salvo. So Iran launched a salvo of missiles. So it means they launched them simultaneously. Okay? They didn't launch one and then maybe 20 minutes later they launch another one and then no, it doesn't mean that. It means simultaneously, a salvo of missiles. What does the word token mean? Well, this is a token, okay? It's not real money, right? You might see tokens in a casino, right? If you go to a casino and you want to maybe play certain games or something, you might need to buy tokens. Okay, so you use your real money and you buy tokens to use at the casino or wherever, maybe in Disneyland. I don't know if they use tokens at Disneyland. I've never been there. But so a token, it's a noun, okay? It's a noun that means a visible representation of something. Okay? So it could be like a coin, like a thing, or it could be kind of a different idea. Like, look at this, okay? I'd like to buy you a coffee as a token of my appreciation. Okay, so imagine if you help me with something. And I say, oh, thank you so much. I would like to buy you a coffee as a token of my appreciation. That means the coffee is the physical representation of my invisible appreciation, right? You can't see my appreciation. It's a feeling in my heart or maybe in my brain. You can't see it, but I would like to take that feeling and buy you a coffee as a token. It doesn't mean that the coffee is going to be payment for your help. It's just in some way it represents my appreciation. Okay? So maybe you helped me all day, right? As a friend, we're friends. You know, you do something kind for me, and I can't repay you for your kindness, but I want to just do something physical as a thank you. So I'm going to buy you a coffee as a token of my appreciation. Does that make sense? So this is a noun. Token could also be an adjective, and that is something that is done for appearances. Something that is done for appearances. Okay, so Iran's actions were a token response. What does that mean? A token response. Well, Iran told the US that they were going to do it, and they only launched a small salvo of missiles. The missiles didn't kill anyone, I don't think. So this was just kind of a symbolic act. It wasn't a real response. It was just kind of symbolic. It was a token response. Okay, that's what token means here. It means just for appearances. It was a token response primarily for domestic consumption. What does that mean? What does domestic mean? It means inside the country, right? If you take a domestic flight, that means you're flying from one city to another city inside the same country. If you take an international flight, it means you're going outside the country. So domestic consumption. What does consumption mean? Well, it means to consume something. You could consume food. You could consume water or Pepsi or whatever what do you like to drink? Let me know down in the comments. But you could also consume the news. You could consume media. Okay, it means you're either listening to it or you're reading it, or it's going inside you. So it was a token response primarily for domestic consumption. It means they did this for the people inside Iran. Okay, so the Iranian government did this so that their own people don't think they're weak. Does that make sense? So this wasn't a real response to the US, because they didn't really hurt the US, but it was a token response, and they did it so that their own people don't think they're weak. So we could say they did it for domestic consumption. So what that means is some news person is going to go on the news, Iranian news, right? Our top news story today is we responded to the American aggression, and we targeted their bases throughout the Middle East. We are strong. The Iranian country is strong. We stand resolute. Yeah, I don't know. Probably say some useless stuff like that. So they did this action, right? They shot their salvo of missiles primarily for domestic consumption. That's it for Mad World News. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Let me know if you understood today's news segment. All right? News segment just means this time that we have taken to talk about the news. So, I love you very much, as always, and I hope you're doing great. And I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad World News. Take care.